On morning side, got no stick in the ride. If I take flicks with the guys, I gotta put emojis over like 3 faces, cause the feds can't see those eyes. People I shouldn't be beside. When I was an actor, they would go Stratford just to sell food on Bieber's side. Plenty reasons why I'm this way.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Todd. Let's get it in. So your boy Drake, the Jamaican, Canadian, British, American, Degrassi star, he went on the radar in New York and laid some tracks with a young man named Central Cee. If you don't know who Central Cee is, he's a young man coming up in the grime scene right now. He has a really popping song with Dave, who's another young man from the grime scene, and that is real big in the UK, from pioneers like Skepta and his brother over there. Those guys, shout out to those guys, man. UK grime scene, man. Those guys really get it out the mud. Nobody really believed or thought like that grime was like gonna be as big and popping as what it is now. Like a bunch of British guys rapping, it probably sounds so proper and stupid. That shit sounds hard. That shit goes in. I'm telling you right now, it goes in. So Central Cee is a new guy on the scene, newer guy on the scene. And the reason that Drake ever knows any of these guys is the only reason is because I consider Drake he's what people say he's tapped in, right? Some people call it culture vulturing. Some people call it being tapped into the youth, tapped into the scene, whatever the poppin' scene is. Somebody had the nerve to call it versatile, right? Because there's this common joke that goes around where Drake is gonna get on your song, and then you go, "Hey Drake, what song are you? What flow are you gonna use?" He goes, "What flow are you gonna do?" And then you say, "Oh, I'm gonna do da da da," and he goes, "All right, I'm gonna use that flow." And that's the joke, is whatever flow you're gonna use on yours, that's what Drake's gonna use on yours too. So, he's gonna do his best British grime impression, and the thing is, he plays it off very well. Like the character, the persona, the mannerisms, he plays it up. He's very good at it. He's really good at what he does. I will never ever, you will never hear me utter the words Drake can't rap, Drake can't. That man, he makes fire music. Like, that's not even a question. My biggest issues with him is his adaptations. Like on a song he's speaking patois, like on another song he's speaking like British grime. Like, come on, bro. Like, or like 2 weeks later he's with Fabio Foreign, and now all right, we on the drill. Like, come on, bro. Like, not like, the thing is, you can get on the song and be you. But you can't get on the song and then take my flow and then be using my flow bro. It's like, it's the most unoriginal thing about Drake at this point. Everything else about Drake, his career, his music, awesome. Right? You can tell he is probably a nice person, right? Like, he's probably a nice individual. Just the little thing with the patois stuff where he like pretends to speak Jamaican, do the Jamaican accent thing, and I'm like, all right, bro, stop it. Like, my fear, I've said it, my fear is like he's been getting a little close to Afrobeat right now, and if I hear you start speaking broken English, bro, I'm losing it. Like, because he's done some songs with Wizkid and Burna, and bro, like, it's just, you can tell like a lot of Afrobeat artists kind of keep him a little bit at arm's length. Like, they kind of understand. We understand what Drake is doing. Like, we're hot right now, so you trying to hop on and do some songs and get your, cool. We get it. We can do that. So let's listen to it. I mean, it's gonna be fire. Like, it's gonna be fire. It's just, I just hope he did. Let's listen. Let's just listen.
On morning side, got no stick in the ride. If I take flicks with the guys, I gotta put emojis over like 3 faces, cause the feds can't see those eyes. People I shouldn't be beside. When I was an actor, they would go Stratford just to sell food on Bieber's side. Plenty reasons why I'm this way, my girl, that's just one reason why. I seen you around that Soto enough, man, baby. You love all some idiot guys. Obedient guys, jokers and comedian guys. You know I'm like 6'2" in the right shoe, love, but you love all some medium guys. I wanna keep you on the beach till 6 a.m. so you see sunrise. Seeing you from the stage in the 100s, these must be eagle eyes. Pressing against me, thinking about entry, know you could tell it's a decent size. You wanna know the real me, girl, so you wanna see deep inside. If Chubbs has on a Chanel side bag, you don't wanna see him reach inside. Cause we know some demon guys with jealous and evil eyes. You know that's how Jesus died, you know that's how Julius Caesar died. I bet they were decent guys, I swear they remind me of me.
Did he just compare himself to Jesus and Julius Caesar? The arrogance. You know what, though? Okay, we're not going to do the Jesus thing because nobody's been bigger than Jesus. But is Drake bigger than Julius Caesar? That's a good question. Like, if we're talking about, we're not going to, let's not talk about impact on civilization. Because, come on. I guess Julius Caesar and, their empire did lay the foundation for a lot of things that we do today. But when it comes to notoriety and spreading across the globe, I'm going to have to give it to Drakey boy on this one. I think Drake has been more widely known, I would say, than Julius Caesar. And I don't think that's even controversial at this point. Like, I can go to solidly 1,000 people in more countries, I feel, and ask them, who's Drake? Give me a Drake line. And they'll be like, all right, boom. Hotline Bling line, I don't know. But give me a Julius Caesar line, I don't know. Apart from E tu Brute, ain't nobody remember none of them speeches. So, yeah, he might be bigger than Julius Caesar.
Sometimes I'm trying to be under your breast like peas and rice. You never get treated nice. Fool you once, that's fine, but you look dumb if you let them repeat it twice. 200 mil on the table, I hope I'm able to get this agreement signed. Told you I needed time, but really the truth is I don't believe in time. Feel like I've been here over 1,000 years, like since the medieval times. And I'm still just a cutthroat king, even though this is recent times. A man my dad that we're beefing with, but we don't do grieving time. Fuck teasing time, if I come inside you, it's breeding time. So much for idols. KMT with an eye roll. Knew that I made it when I had drivers holding my last name up in arrivals. Cinch might need vaccine when he see how this vid start going viral. If leaders dead and the masters there with grains in there like silos. The morning rain clouds up my window, I swear I feel like Dido. JAUM, how it looks when man put you in a jam like typos. Negotiation asking for 20% of the company, that's my final. Realistic, the shit might M15 like I'm going through Tottenham High Road. If it's beef, I get that shade for bread and grease like I'm making gyros. Or I'm making gyros. So much for all these heroes. The numbers.
Okay, so Drake is good at riding any beat. So pause, but it's impressive that he's lasted this long. If we're being, let me be honest, Drake's longevity has been something that has been an interesting to with kind of witness, because a lot of the people who came around his time are gone. Like, even, I'm not going to say Nicki Minaj, because I say Nicki Minaj, I feel like somebody's going to jump out one of the barbs or whatever they're called. They're just going to just karate chop me. They're in full power now with the Barbie movie out right now. So say nothing wrong about the barbs. But there was a whole YMCMB kind of movement at one time. There was Gunna, there was a crazy lineup. Who was on YMCMB? Oh, Tyga was on YMCMB. How did I forget that? I don't know all their names, members. Yeah, let's look at the numbers. All right. So, wait, what? No, no. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. But it was a good little roster they had during that time. Okay, so I think it was okay. So this is who I think it was. It was Nicki Minaj, Tyga. It was Jay Mills, Mac Main, Corey Guns, Lil Twist, Gutta Gutta. That's who it was. Not Gunna. Gutta Gutta. That's who it was. Short Dog, I don't remember. Lil Chucky, I don't remember. T Streets, I remember T Streets. Chanel, I remember her. I don't remember these last two. Or AKA, yeah. Like, I remember her on one of the hooks or something. All right. So yeah, they are pretty like Mac Main was dope. Jay Mills, he was a battle rapper, he was good. Corey Guns, battle rap, he was good too. Lil Twist, he was like a younger rapper at the time. He was like the new generation's like Bow Wow, Romeo mixed with like a little hood, but like I don't know. He was like the young guy, like he was like the little guy, Lil Twist. Gutta Gutta was the hood guy. He had some bars. Chucky, I can't remember a lot about Chucky. Short Dog. But like they had a little roster. And the only two really that made it, like that are still like, going in right now, I would say is Drake. You know what I mean? Like Drake. Nicki had her reign for a while. Tyga's been very sporadic with his career. So he's had an interesting career though, but he'll have like a summer hit. But in the case of the music industry though, nowadays it's almost better to have a Tyga-like career in the sense that you want to be able to drop a bunch of like singles because nobody's really buying albums like the way they used to back in the day. I don't think the numbers validate artists making albums anymore. I think for artists, it's much more fruitful for them and it builds more of a fan base and a more longer base if you're just dropping these singles kind of every other summer or every summer or, in a kind of a cycle so that your fans have new music to listen to kind of all the time rather than having them expect a long album that you deliver and then under deliver. And then they're like, I hate track 6 through 50, and you're like, oh man, I worked my ass off on that, or you can drop a single song banger like every couple months and people keep loving it. You take over the streets for a couple months and you go back in hibernation, make another banger, I think that's like the new business model for a lot of guys right now where people are not like really trying to do like albums and EPs and shit like that anymore. Cause like, it's not, labels aren't buying it and it's not yielding the numbers that people expect them to yield. So a single will do more and do you numbers and get you tours and get you gigs more than an album will at this point. So, and people now like, they look at album sales negatively. Like, your album sells like 10,000 copies, you went triple plastic. You know what I'm saying? So like, and now like people thinking you fell off. Oh man, Lil Baby sold 30,000 first week. That should be 150,000. Oh my God, is Lil Baby's career over? Let's not forget that he just had like a summer hit, three summers in a row. Like had 3 hits. Oh my God, he dropped one crazy like an album that didn't do good. He fell off. It's over. It's like, come on, bro. Like that's the perception. Like that's what I'm talking about. Where albums give people the perception that a fan is or an artist isn't as hot as they really are. So that's my little personal take. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, I kind of lost track of this story. I don't even know where where this story is supposed to go at this point. Is it the Quavo story? What story am I doing? The YMCMB. Oh, it's the Drake story. Okay, that's what the story is. Oh yeah, Drake dropped this thing. Yeah, I mean, Drake's verse is good. Central C's verse. Let's go to Central C's verse.
You ain't been on your team, you been eating swine. Nah, I ain't a man of your dreams. Now you wish that you stayed with your previous guy. It used to be 3.5s. Now I can sell out the O2 arena. See, you can hear how, you know, Drake's verse sounds eerily familiar, right? Because he probably just listened to one of this dude's tracks and was like, well, I like that verse. Well, I like that track. Let me look. Don't ask what the feel looks like. Don't believe all the media hype. Like 80% of these people lying. Who can I ask when I need advice? I gotta work hard, this new provides. Email white piece for the feature. Look, what goes up must come down. So when you're in the air, prepare for the landing. I did everything that I could. See, maybe, you know, like that was such a simple line. What goes up must come down. But because he said it in that grime British accent, it was a hard bar. It's funny how things that are foreign to people sound like a lot cooler than sometimes like what they be saying, you know, like sometimes like it's just the language barrier that makes things sound a little more interesting. How did they say I don't care for the man? The crib so big I might get out of breath if I walk too quick up the stairs in a mansion. They weren't there for the action. Trying to round up 300 Spartans. We're going to war, but we ain't in Athens. Everything won't go to plan, that's not how it goes. I'm afraid shit happens. Rap boy on a footballer's wage, I'm on the same pay as the players at Dallas. What's making the haters jealous? I think of the AP's 18 carats. They call me my government name in Harris. This one ratchet, don't even know who her baby dad is. If I come inside, then I won't leave till I see I take the tablets. No. He mentioned my name because he wanted some fame and he ain't established. Alright, you know the verse gon' hit when you hear that ad-lib. Come a long way, I was selling them opium on my lonely, but I'm not Ken Carson. I'm a hood red, hot red dot on my head and my hood on my target. So drive, I'll stay in a whip while I jump out quick, don't park it. I can lean out the window and horn it, I'm on the same pay as the players at Charlotte. Big fish in this ting, no arm, man's like a backstroke, I'm swimming a shotgun. Drop me in the jungle, tree to tree, start swinging like Tarzan. 24-inch on the rims on the Benz, I'm doing donuts and skidding on tarmac. Sick of these high-rise buildings, flip the script, now I'm living on farmland. Hey. Yeah. Okay, Drake is gonna do some really weird, like, hey man, look at me, it's big bro. Yeah. All right, yeah. All right. So, as usual, let's get back to the Drake criticisms. There's no more criticism of Drake. I just think it's interesting. It's a good beat. He killed it. Central C killed it. I mean, their connection is pretty interesting because Drake, I think he executive produced a show that Dave was on. If you guys ever heard of Top Boy, that's the show that I think he executive produces. It's like British Wire or something like that. I've never seen it, but my friends swear by it. So I think it's interesting. And Central C and Dave have a relationship, so I can see the connection. I can see where it would meet, and you know, obviously, Drake likes new music. He's always embraced new artists, and I've never said there's anything wrong with that, right? I actually commend him for the way that he does collab with new artists and give them shine. And you know, he did the same thing for Jack Harlow. His career is kind of dead now. He did the same thing for Block Boy JB. His career is kind of dead now. So, you know, I just think artists need to be careful when they get around Drake. All right. The reason that Drake is around you a lot of the times is because you the new hot thing. You the new hot commodity, and whatever it is in the rap game, you're the new hot commodity. And whenever he's done with you, whenever your shine fades and your records ain't doing too well, they're not moving, the clubs ain't bumping your stuff, is Drake coming around? Probably not. We still looking for I Love McConan. I Love McConan ain't been out since the club was going up on Tuesday. That's what I'm trying to let y'all know now, right? Club went up on Tuesday. It's been shut down ever since. All right. So what happened to Party Next Door? Right. So there's a lot of OVO
artists and Drake cosigns that sound good at first, but after a while, when that that shine fades away, Drake's nowhere to be found. His career still popping because he didn't kind of essentially he uses your stardom to regain his relevance and kind of push it. It's like a vampire in a sense where the energy that he gets from these newer, younger artists, he uses that to propel him a little further to keep him more relevant just long enough, right? Now, oh, when they bring up grime, guess who's right next to it? The biggest artist. When they bring up this, guess who's right next to it? Drake, it's your boy Drake. Guess who's right next to it, right? He makes himself very adjacent to popular music, right? His style of music may not be popular at the time, but what he does is he'll say, hey, I know what's popping. I know who's popping right now. Kodak's popping. Ooh, let me drop a little Kodak verse. Let me drop a little this verse. Let me drop a little, let me give this guy a little. And what he's doing, and that's masterful in execution in the sense of that's a great plan to keep your career alive. But what happens is, because of how big Drake is, if he gives you one feature, that feature might do 2-3 billion or some crazy number like that. But you as an artist cannot sustain a Drake feature, right? If I'm not doing Drake numbers before Drake gets on my track, my numbers are going to look freaking crazy if I do a song and Drake's not on it, right? If I'm doing 100K, and you come and you bring me 500 million, and I don't know how to deal with that 500 million. I wasn't used to getting that 300, 500 million. I can't replicate that without, then my career gonna look crazy because, I'm this one-hit wonder when I could have just been building steadily, don't need a Drake. I'm still making my money. I'm still doing this, doing that. But now you've essentially made me irrelevant, right? You've now portrayed me as somebody who requires a Drake feature to pop off, right? And that's like the worst thing I feel like for artists is like, sometimes I feel like when they accept that Drake feature, ooh, you just signed it. It's like, hey, that song gonna be a banger, but that might be your career, buddy. Because that means your label is, it's like they're throwing everything at the kitchen sink. Get me Drake. Go get Drake. Bring him on this track. So I think it's interesting. I think Drake has carved a lane out for himself. He's beloved in Canada, Toronto, where he's from, the Six. Made a name for himself, made a name for his family. He made a way for his friends, and nobody will ever begrudge him for that. The only qualms that I have with the man is the way he uses artists as stepping stones to essentially continue and perpetuate his career, leaving their career to essentially kind of fall to the wayside. And I'm not, of course, these human beings are responsible for their own careers and the career decisions that they make, their labels make, right? It's not Drake's not like, oh man, he's not putting a gun to them to accept the feature, right? But I just say, man, at some point you got to know the Drake effect is real. Like I'm naming it the Drake effect now, but like there is such a thing when it's like when Oprah was giving out cars, right? Think about that. When Oprah was giving out cars, she was giving out cars to people who couldn't afford the payment. Or imagine you give a house to somebody who can't afford a house payment. They're going to lose the house, right? That's essentially what you're doing. You're giving these people things that they can't sustain. Some of your songs get billions of views. I'm not getting 1 million views again unless you coming on my album. Like, I'm gonna need you to do every song on my album, bro, because that's what my contract says. I need, because you know what I'm saying. So, yeah. And sometimes, like a lot of these labels will use some of those streaming numbers and be like, look, your song's been declining, your your stuff's been declining, and now we can't offer you the same contract we used to offer you. And you're like, motherfucker, that's because you put Drake on one of my songs, and now my metric is crazy. So it's your boy Ty. Once again, let me know what you think in the comment section. Is the Drake effect a thing? Is the Drake effect real? Do you guys call it something else? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. It's your boy Ty. It's Contentious Conversations. This one went a little longer than I expected, but I'm out now. Peace.